So you nailed the interview. You've told everybody about it. You're so excited. You're so confident. And then you get that email of rejection, that rejection email, and you just start to wonder what went wrong. I'm Diane with Biblical Career Coaching for Women Over 45, where career strategies meets biblical wisdom. Now, today we're going to be talking about what happens when you get that interview, thought you nailed it, and then you get that rejection letter. And today I'm going to be sharing 4 career strategies from the book of Ruth in her journey that can help you move past that disappointment and go that led her to her divine destiny. So we're going to look at Ruth. We're going to start at Ruth chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. Now, I want you to have a journal, something to write with, because I'm going to ask you questions along the way, and I want you to be able to answer those questions just right off the cuff. Don't try to think about it. Don't try to work too hard to find the answers, because what you'll do at the end, you're going to see that some of the things that God may be showing you through this journey or even through that rejection might be more towards His will for your life, and maybe something that we missed along the way. So turn in your Bibles. I'm going to be reading from the New King James Version today. Ruth chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. Ruth chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. It says, "Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to dwell in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, the Ephraimites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they went to the country of Moab and remained there. Then Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. Now they took wives of the women of Moab, and the name of one was Oprah, and the other was Ruth. Then both Mahlon and Chilion also died, so the woman survived her 2 sons and her husband. So her husband and her sons died, and she was in a strange land." And then in verse 6 it says, "Then she arose, her and her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab that the Lord visited the people by giving them bread." Now this is where Naomi tried to convince Oprah and Ruth to go back to their families and to their land. I'm going to skip all the way down to verse 14. She was telling them, "Why would you want to stay with me?" She was giving them all sorts of excuses why not to continue along with her. So let's just go ahead and look at verse 14. It says, "Then they lifted up their voices and wept again, because they were crying, because she was just begging them to go back to their families. And Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. And she said, 'Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law.' But Ruth said, 'Entreat me not to leave you.'" Now, strategy number 1 is that Ruth redirected her goals. That's the first thing that she did. There was a famine. Her mother-in-law was trying to convince her and Oprah to go back to their families, but Oprah left and went back, but Ruth said she wanted to cling to her mother-in-law, and she said, "Entreat me not to leave you or to turn back from following you, for wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge, and your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." Now, that's really important for us biblically, because she had made a redirection in her decision. She decided that Naomi's God would be her God, because remember, they were living in the land of Moab. So they were in her hometown. She was getting ready to go back to her people, and Naomi and Ruth had decided. She redirected her goals. Now, when it comes to today, when she said, "My God will be your God," it's just like being born again or receiving Jesus as your Lord and Savior. But she also redirected her goals to decide to do something that she had never done before. So that was unexpected. She was like, "Okay, I'm going to do this." Now, when we have a rejection or we receive a rejection, what do we do? The question I want you to write down in your journal, and I'm going to ask the question. I want you to just write the answer right away. It's when was the last time you redirected your goals after something didn't go as planned? And many times we don't do that right away because we're in grieving process. She was in the middle of a grieving process. How did God guide you towards something new that you didn't expect? How did he guide you through something new that you didn't expect? So write a quick answer in the journal. Don't take too long to think about it, because I want you to put it all together at the end. And strategy number 2, so first, number 1, she redirected her goals. Number 2, she understood that she had to make a commitment. And this may or may not be your situation that she was dealing with, but she had to make an instant commitment. She redirected her goals, but she had to commit to those goals. She was a widow starting over. She was getting ready to go to a new land. And it's almost like re-entering the workforce when you're doing that, or the job market. She was going to be a cultural outsider. When you go to a new place or a job or a new career, you're going to be culturally an outsider. And especially at our age, when you're over 45, or you're trying to re-enter the workforce because maybe you've been a single mom, or maybe you've just been out of the workforce for a certain amount of time. Going back in, you're going to be culturally deficient in once you step back into that job market. But there's ways that you can do that that will ease some of that anxiety that you might be feeling. So let's look at Ruth chapter 1, verse 22. And it says, so Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, with her, who returned to the country of Moab. Now they came to Bethlehem, and at the beginning of the barley harvest. So they returned to Bethlehem. Now, I want to back up, though, just a little bit. Because when she returned to Bethlehem, see, Naomi was not an unknown. It says, verse 19, I'm just going to back up to verse 19. It says, now the two of them went until they came to Bethlehem, and it happened that they had come to Bethlehem, and all the city were excited because of them. And the woman said, is this Naomi? Now, when you go back into the workforce, when things start happening, people are going to start questioning, is it she? So you got to think about, a lot of times we don't do things because we're in fear of what somebody else is going to say. What are they going to say about me going back into the workforce? Well, oh, is it so-and-so? Is she was this and that and the other, and now she's got to go back to work, or now she's got to do this, that, and the other. Gossip is a horrible thing, but that it creates a certain amount of anxiety when we've lived a certain way. They were not broke. When they left Bethlehem, Elimelech, he had money. And we're going to see that in just a minute. So in Ruth chapter 1, verse 22, so they returned to the country of Moab. Ruth redirected, and she understood, she made that commitment. Now, the next question I want to ask you is that Ruth stepped into something completely unfamiliar. What's one area of your career or life right now where you feel God calling you to step out in faith, even if you don't have all the details? What is that one area? Write that down really quickly. Don't try to harp too much on it or think too much about it, because I want you to be able to just trust the Holy Spirit's leading in this teaching. Strategy number 3 is transformational. Ruth had to transform her skill set. Now, we all know that when the things are just moving so quickly these days, what was good last week is not good this week. So it's the same with the job market. It's the same with that skill set. We must be willing to take transformational steps in order to adjust our skill set as needed. And let's go over here to Ruth chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. She had to step back. She had to understand that she had to do some transformational skills. She wasn't working. She was married. So now she's in a new land. She has to transform her skill set. Now, Ruth chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, it says, and there was a relative of Naomi's husband, a man of great wealth, of the family of Elimelech. This is Boaz. His name was Boaz. So Ruth the Moabite said unto Naomi, please let me go to the field and glean heads from grain after him whose sight I may find favor. And she said to her, "Go, my daughter." And she left her and went to glean in the field after the reapers. And it happened to come to the part of the field where belonging to Boaz, who was who was of the family of Elimelech. So one of the things that Ruth had to do, she had to take a job that was beneath her. Now she had to do menial labor, and you know, and you can do that if it's necessary. But one of the things I want you to think about before you jump into maybe a job that pays a lot less than you were making is that you have to identify your potential, your passion, and your purpose. You have to know exactly where is my heart when it comes to these things. And to do that, you want to write down your favorite things to do. Take those favorite things to do. It's not so much a hobby, but those things that are your favorite things to do will help you decide what direction you want to go into if you have to take a job of lesser pay or lesser skills, because you don't want to go somewhere where, well, I just go work at McDonald's. No, if you don't love cooking or being a chef or whatever, you don't want to go to a place where you have to cook. You're not going to be you're not going to be happy. And there is something for everybody. There is something for everybody. If you like pets, you can, take a job or something like that at the shelter, or go around the skills and the things that you enjoy doing. If it's sewing, or if it's, go to a fabric store. Those types of things you have to really dig into. And we're not going to go fully into that right now, but I just want to challenge you in that area. If you do have to take something lesser, make sure it's in the field or something or even if it's a new shift, that's something you enjoy doing. So she had to take a job that was beneath her, and then she had to prove herself among the young women. So when re-entering and changing careers, you always are going to run into the younger generation, and you're going to have to work harder than they work. You're going to have to prove yourself. Now, Boaz noticed her because of her character and not because of her circumstances. Be careful not to complain about your past circumstances when you go into that next field. Don't start complaining, well, they this and that and the other, especially during the job interview. That's a red flag for anybody. And sometimes, Naomi was complaining. She was telling them to call her Mara, that because she had bitterness because she felt the Lord was against her. But Ruth could have been bitter as well, but she wasn't. She just did what she had to do. She made that shift. Now she's transforming herself by doing something that she's never done before. So let's look at Ruth at Ruth chapter 2, verse 5. Then Boaz said to the servant who was in charge of the reapers, "Whose young woman is this?" So the servant who was in charge of the reapers answered and said, "It is the young Moabite woman who came back from Naomi from the country of Moab." So he went to explain who she was and her character. Then Boaz said to Ruth, "You will listen, my daughter, will you not? Do not go to glean in another field, nor go from here, but stay close to my young woman. Let your eyes be on the field which they reap, and go after them. Have I not commanded that the young men not touch you? And when you are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink from what the young men have drawn." So she fell on her face and bowed down to the ground and said unto him, "Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should take notice of me? For I am a foreigner." And then Boaz answered and said unto her, "It has been fully reported to me all that you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and your mother and your land of your birth, and have come to the people to whom you did not know before." So he noticed the sacrifice that she has made. Now she's transforming herself into the fields. So my question to you to write into your journal, what skill, what mindset or habit do you sense God asking you to transform in this new season? What is he asking you to do that's different than what you did before? Transformational. I'm doing something I've never done before. Maybe it's confidence, patience, it might be learning a new skill. What comes to your mind instantly and write that down. Now, number 4 is strategy number 4 is that Ruth remained humble. She remained humble. She submitted herself to Boaz, and then she ended up, they ended up being married, but that was her destiny. He noticed her character. It wasn't so much, she wasn't trying to prove herself. She was just being who she was and and providing for her and her mother-in-law. She didn't have an ultimate motive. Well, let me go over here and sit with under Boaz's field. No, she was just over there and he saw her. But it turned out for her benefit and for her destiny. So, how has humility opened unexpected doors for you in your career or ministry? We have to be humble. It doesn't mean we have to be beat down. We do have to remain humble. We have to have a humble spirit and a humble heart. And sometimes favor comes from just, being humble and not bragging. Well, I used to be this or I used to be that. Nobody wants to hear that. When you go to a new position, you cannot necessarily just start bragging about yourself or talking about what you know because you're in a new culture and God is taking you somewhere. So I hope these action steps now, I'm going to go back over the action steps that I have, and then I'm going to share with you something that I want you to do during this time to help you through maybe the disappointment of not getting that job. You have to put in so many job applications and go to interviews and those types of things, and you don't get the job. How frustrating is that? You put in all these online and you don't even get an interview or text or a callback. That is very, very frustrating. So the action step that I want to go over with you today is number 1 is to redirect your goals. Try to redirect your goals. Try not to take too long, going over what happened and what didn't happen. Just pay attention to maybe why you didn't get the interview. Ask God to show you. And I want you to write down those 3 favorite things that you do. I want you to understand that you have to make a commitment. When you write those favorite things down, start building a list of potential jobs that might fall under that, or better yet, just write it on a card. Write your 3 favorite things on a card and give it to somebody and ask them this. If you saw a person that had these 3 things, that liked these 3 things, what kind of job would you think that person would do? And don't do it so that you're trying to get, fill out the answer. Just do it. Just toss it to somebody that maybe a friend or family member, and see what kind of jobs that they will come up with. And then think about that and think, okay, maybe I could do something like that, because sometimes we get stuck. So just do that. Hand it off to somebody, write down those things, and then start looking for jobs or putting in interviews for your favorite things to do, because you're going to be a lot more passionate about that. Now, understand that you have to make a commitment, transform your mindset, and remain humble. So, I hope the story of Ruth helped you out. And if you noticed, I used the acronym Ruth. R for redirect, U for understand, T for transform, and H for humility. So if this has been a blessing to you, or if it has helped you, make sure you answer those questions. I would love to hear from you. Answer those questions. Let me know what you came up with, and maybe we can talk about that on a future broadcast, because my heart's desire is to biblically help us through our career transformations. The Bible has so much to say about how we can react and respond to the things that happen to us in our careers and as we mature. God has a plan for all of our lives, and I just thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you think about and pray about the things that you wrote down, the questions that I asked you earlier. And you can share them if you would like to share them in the comments. I would love to hear from that and respond to you as well. So don't forget your action step. And thank you so much for tuning in, and you have a great one.